Hey guys, we got a great question in from someone who is following the Connector project. And they ask, so many altcoins do little more than enrich the creator. Why not just use Bitcoin as the currency that's used inside Connector? That's a great question, because there are a lot of projects that there isn't a whole lot of substance to the project itself. The short-term gains, the short-term thinking and the high time preference thinking probably puts more weight on their currency than the project itself. But we have 5 really good reasons that we created the Connector coin instead of using Bitcoin, our currency inside of our community and inside of the platform. So the first one is branding. We want the presence of the Connector coin and the Connector logo to be seen in people's wallets and on exchanges and in the media to promote Connector app. And using another currency, a pre-existing currency, wouldn't do that. The second reason is incentives. We want to dole out incentives to our users. We set aside 5% of all advertising income to go to active users. And we also set aside another 5% pool for our early adopters. So anyone who gets in early in the first few months of Connector going live will be able to double dip and receive from 2 different 5% pools that get distributed monthly. And there's lots of incentives like that we're going to build into Connector that make the users want to stay on, that make the advertisers want to show up, that bring in more income that goes back to the users, that make the users want to be more active, and it's a circle. So we have more incentives than just that also planned out for the future. So another thing is when we give an incentive, a 50% discount to the advertisers to pay us in Connector coin, because there's the Connector app that is the first use case for the Connector coin. There will be many more that are outside of the Connector app. But because of that, it brings them back. That enriches and strengthens the community. Another reason is that alternatives to Bitcoin work better. Bitcoin's not a currency. It's expensive to send and takes a long time to send, has a low volume limit. I think it's 7 transactions per second. Connector coin costs usually just pennies to send. It arrives immediately, and thousands of Connector transactions can be sent per second because it's built on the Polygon network. Bitcoin is not a currency. So people that are talking about using Bitcoin for projects like this is not compatible. Bitcoin was a great proof of concept, but you don't enter Model Ts into the Grand Prix. The 5th reason that we created the Connector coin instead of using Bitcoin as our internal currency, the selling of our crypto generates funds that go back into the development of future features in the Connector app. So that actually makes the app add more value to the users. If we were buying some cryptocurrency to put into the app, then that would require a huge capital cost upfront. Whereas selling the Connector coin, even though it's dosed out over time, almost 90% of it is locked up and only small portions come out to us, kind of like a construction loan for a real estate loan. Every 6 months, a small amount of that comes out to us. Some of it's dispersed out to the users as incentives. Some of it is sold on exchanges in order for us to use it to build more features in the Connector app. So in doing this, we're able to create a bigger and better experience for the users. These are just 5 of the reasons that we created Connector coin. Thanks for the great question. We look forward to bringing more information about the upcoming Connector app to you soon.
Connector. Find your kind.